been in my chapel advisor group the whole time he's been here. Been very calm and very active, depending if he's next to Victor or not. Very calm, but very active. Member of our chapel pro. But of course, volleyball. Lots of volleyball. Trips, tournaments, and lots and lots and lots of volleyball together. Yeah, Dill. Say that a lot. Say that a lot. Say that a lot. So you probably know Dylan likes to fish. Probably not. Dylan likes to fish. So what do you get when you combine a stinking volleyball jersey with a fishing lure? Hook, line, and sinker. You're not booing. But you won't boo for Dylan. So Dylan, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Mr. King, for the kind introduction and everything that you have done for me. You have impacted my high school career in the classroom, as an advisor, and as a coach. I'm so grateful for all that you have done for me. I've been a student here at Dock for 2.5 years. Although I've only been attending Dock for that short amount of time, I've made more than enough friends, accomplishments, and memories. I know that freshman me, who is very clueless, wouldn't be able to guess where I am now and where I'm going in the future. And those of you who know me well are probably wondering how I will talk up here for 20 minutes. I know this is a lot of words for me, but I will try my best, so bear with me. Everyone has something in their life that changes them good or bad, for the better or worse. I was lucky enough to have one of these events be both good and for the better, although it took some time to realize it. It was my sophomore year of high school, and I was about to take a leap of faith into the unknown. Sounds scary, right? I thought so too. I can still remember my first day at Dock and how terrifying and stressful it was, but looking back on it, it was worth it. I started my high school career at the Hill School. The Hill is a boarding private school in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, about 10 minutes from my house. I was lucky enough to be accepted into this prestigious school and to have a family that sponsored me. My sister had been attending the school there since her freshman year, so I had already gotten to experience a little bit of the school through her. I loved it. The environment, the people there, the traditions, I loved everything about it. But a couple weeks after I got accepted, we were told that we had a 2-week break because of some virus going around. At first, I wasn't really worried, but after 4 or so months of quarantine, I felt lost. The summer flew by, and I was ready to go back to school and see my friends, as well as meet new ones. After a couple weeks of school, I found myself working harder than ever to keep my grades up, along with playing soccer at one of the highest levels I've ever played. The Hill that I had known before the pandemic seemed to have faded into something new, but there was a full-blown pandemic going on, so I didn't think much of it. COVID tests weekly were very annoying, but I understood why the school was doing it, although tracker bracelets were a little much. I made a ton of new friends and grew closer to the ones I already had. I found a new hatred for masks, especially when I was trying to play soccer now. And sadly, we weren't allowed to play contact sports, so this meant no actual games, and that got old fast. And one lunch, our headmaster even taught us the proper way to butter bread. I never knew there was a wrong way. Freshman year flew by very fast, and before I knew it, it was sophomore year. I was required to get the vaccine, which I didn't want to do, but I bent to the rules. The school felt like it was going back to normal, with sports going on and many other events. I got to experience my first Lawrenceville weekend, which is a whole weekend dedicated to playing our rival in fall sports. I even decided to try ice hockey. Everything was going pretty well until Christmas break. The school released new rules and regulations that said students must get the booster vaccine, along with a ton of other rules limiting day students, which I was. This was when I realized that the school was no longer the best place for me. So my parents and I decided to look at other schools. My first option was Faith Christian Academy, but I soon realized that was not for me. Then my parents told me about Dock. After a little conversing, we decided to tour the school, which led to the decision to attend Dock for the second semester, a total leap of faith. I'm not the most extroverted person, so I was stressing big time. I remember my first day like it was yesterday. I felt so nervous and lost, but I managed to get through it. I met some new people who later became very good friends of mine. but I still flew as under the radar as I could. Walking into the lunchroom, I heard someone call my name, and it was Adam. He asked if I had anywhere to sit, and I said that I didn't, so he offered a spot at his table. I accepted, and this is where I met Trevor King and Justin. I didn't know it yet, but we were going to make so many memories together in the coming years. Around this time, I also decided to try volleyball. This was one of the best decisions I could have made because I made so many new friends and got a little bit of my voice back. The school year ended, and I felt better about my decision, but I still felt back to my old school. My friends never reached out to see if I was doing well, and some people didn't even know that I left. This hurt for sure, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. My junior year began, and it was amazing. Not only was I able to play golf in the fall, but also soccer. Being part of 2 varsity teams and working on my academics was definitely stressful at times, but it was very rewarding. I was lucky enough to be part of an amazing golf team my junior year, which had a ton of talent. Playing golf with friends every day was great, knowing that after school I would get to play 9 holes was the best feeling ever. One playing partner that I always seemed to click with was Sam Lowes, and he felt the same. We would always play out of our minds together, and it was fun to see him crush the ball. I made a couple of other new friendships and strengthened some that I already had. I think I only played 1 time with Trevor, and that was enough because we couldn't stop laughing at all the jokes we were making, because it meant we were playing terribly. Our team went undefeated in the regular season and on came the district qualifier. After a long day of golf, I qualified for the district tournament, so I not only be playing for the team, but also individually. We didn't win district, so this meant the season was over. After the season ended, I was already ready for the next. I wanted to go farther than I had and make it to states, but I couldn't get lost in this thought for too long because there was still a soccer season to finish. In my junior year, I played left back for the team, but I didn't start yet because we had a couple of talented guys who also played outside backs. I would usually get subbed in if someone needed a break or wasn't doing the best. Until one practice, the day before our first states game, one of these players got hurt. Coach Moore walked up to me and asked if I was ready to play tomorrow, and of course, I responded with a strong yes. I was a little nervous at the start of the game, but when the whistle blew, I felt at home. The team we were playing was very strong, but I knew that we could beat them. After a long first half of strong defense from both teams, we were still at a standstill. Our back line, along with Brady Kratz, stood on our heads a couple times, and this carried on into the second half. After much of the same, we went to overtime. Even after 2 periods of that, neither team could find the net, so we went to penalties. I can still remember barely being able to stand at half field, or we were taking penalties because my legs hurt so bad. Sadly, we lost the game, but I knew I'd given everything I had, and once again I was left with the feeling of being ready for next year's season to come. Now I can finally rest a little and focus more on school and my spiritual life. Around this time, Mr. Benner asked me to join the chapel committee, so I decided to accept. It was cool to be able to plan chapels and also listen to other people's ideas. To be honest, I wasn't too involved with planning, but I still enjoyed being there. Trevor and I came up with the idea to watch the Chosen for our interest group, and a ton of people signed up. Since starting at Doc, I usually enjoyed the chapel, so it was awesome to see all the behind the scenes. I also found myself in my first relationship, which has impacted me in many ways. Olivia, I just want to thank you for making me a more confident and outspoken person. You truly are something special, and I know everybody sees this. Around this time, I was getting my butt kicked in pre-calc, and I had never had a class do this to me. I realized that I had to do my work and study for tests, and when I did this, I found success. I started the year with a B in the first semester, but after working and studying, I ended with an A. I'm very thankful for this class because it showed me when I use my gifts and pair them with hard work, I can do a lot. It didn't take long until I found myself getting ready for volleyball season. We had open gyms every Thursday late at night, where we would mostly scrimmage, and it was a ton of fun. I was also playing at another club volleyball team at this time, but that didn't last long because of how big of a commitment it was, and I also felt like I wasn't getting anything out of it anymore. The club season progressed, and we went to a handful of tournaments, which helped us see things we needed to improve on, and I knew before the season even started that it was going to be very different than the last, because the season prior, I was only a swing player, and when it came to varsity, I sat the bench most of the time. But this year it was completely different. I was starting on the team, and it felt like I had huge shoes to fill. I felt like I had to live up to certain standards, but I later realized that the only standards that had been put on me were by myself. Mr. King, Ben, Andrew, and Logan all helped me so much to improve my game. They all had a major impact on me, not only in volleyball, but also as a person. The lessons that they unstoppable. It was up until our state game against Exeter. The team knew that it was going to be a challenging game, being that they had a big hitter on the team, and we were ready. It was a battle of kills. Both teams traded one big hit for another, but after too many mistakes, the game ended in a shocking loss that I still think about to this day. The season was over, and I couldn't believe it. That was my last time playing with all of the seniors, and it put a damper on my mood for a while. But overall, I had more great memories from my junior year than just this one bad one, like my social issues trip with Pablo, which was an amazing experience getting to see our country's capital, including all the monuments, the golf and soccer seasons, which taught me many new things about myself and many more. Although I thought about that game for a while, it was time to enjoy my summer break. I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to work with Ben Yoder that summer, and it was an awesome experience. Getting to learn from him and have fun while doing it was something special. Whether we were cutting and placing tile, hardwood floors, or on a roof, the days were always fun. Yes, this was my first construction job, so I made plenty of mistakes, but these were opportunities to learn. This job helped me to truly understand what hard work looks like and feels like, and it was probably the best part of my summer. I want to thank Ben for giving me the opportunity to work with him. I went on a couple trips with my youth group, which helped to grow my spiritual life. Sometimes I led devotions, I led in prayer, and maybe, just maybe, I would get my group of friends to sing a worship song or two. I know I'm not the best singer, but as long as you're loud and confident, that's okay, for the most part. These trips helped me to grow as a person, inside and out, and in my faith. But just like that, summer was over as quickly as it started, and it was time to go back to school. It felt weird being the older kids in school, and I didn't really like it at first. Again, I was playing golf and soccer in the fall. Myself and my good friend Trevor were captains of the golf team, so we knew we had to set a good example for the rest of the team. I remember my goal to go to states for golf when the grind started. Every day after school, when I wasn't at soccer, I was practicing golf either on the course or at a driving range. And some nights I would go straight from golf practice to Waltz's golf farm to practice some more. The regular season cruised by, and I was happy with how our team improved. Everyone seemed to have gotten better as the season progressed, and it was cool to see. The day came for the district qualifier, and I was lucky enough to play with my kindergarten friend Joel Taveri. So obviously we had a little side competition going on, which made the day a little more fun. We had a coach following us to keep score, and after every hole, I'd tell him what I got, but I wasn't keeping track. He would ask me now and then if I wanted to know the score, and I would say no, that I didn't want to know before the job was finished. The round flew by, shot after shot, hole after hole, and then it was done. Once again, I qualified for districts with a score of 83, which I was, of course, very happy about. Our group was finished before many of the others, so I sat and waited. Trevor's group finished, and he too qualified for districts after being out for a couple of weeks due to an injury. As the final group came in and the scores were set, I was sitting eating a hot dog and drinking a Coke, and my coach walked over and simply said, "You know you won, right?" I kind of just laughed at him, and he said it again, and then I realized that I actually did. I was the BAL champion or something like that. I celebrated with the team, and I knew that I wasn't done here, and I had to keep working. We had some time in between the qualifier districts to practice and get ready, so that is what we did. The day finally came to play. The first day I was paired with 3 random kids, and I was a little intimidated, but those nerves went away after a couple holes, and I finished the day with a solid round that got me to Tuesday. Once again, I found myself playing with Joel, but this time Trevor was also in the group along with one of Joel's teammates from Faith. The round started smoothly, but what was once a nice lead turned into more of a battle as I began to fall apart. It came down to the last hole, and after we finished, we realized that me and Joel were tied, and we would need to play a playoff hole to see who would go to states. But after we checked our scorecards and read over them a couple of times, we realized that I had written the wrong score for the last hole, but because Joel signed off, he was disqualified. I was devastated. I just got my best friend disqualified, and I couldn't do anything about it. I asked officials if they could disqualify me too, since it was also my mistake. They said no. I didn't know what to do or what to say. Joel's mom came over to me and said friendships are more important than golf, and there were a lot of tears shed that day. I didn't feel that I deserved it at all, but my parents, along with Trevor, said that I just needed to make the most of it, which I knew was right. Now I had a new goal, to play for Joel. Going to the States, I had little expectations because I knew I wasn't going to be the best there, so I just kept thinking, why not? It's just a couple of free rounds of golf to prove what I can do. All the work that I put in led to this moment, and after I practice round and the night of absolutely zero sleep, it was time for the first round, which Joel and his mom came to watch. The announcer started us off by saying our names in schools, and just like that, it was a good time. Much like the qualifier, the round was a blur and felt like I couldn't miss. Once again, I didn't count my score until the end, when I realized I had shot a 76, my best round ever. After walking out of the swimming booth, I went straight to my dad and hugged him. I couldn't stop smiling, and then hugged Joel's mom and got to talk to Joel for a little. It felt amazing to be able to shoot that score with them watching. I'd accomplished what I wanted, but there was still another day to play. The second day was nothing to write home about, but the experience as a whole was amazing, and I will never forget it. I just want to thank our coach, Mark Durstein, for all that he has done for the team. He has helped me improve my golf game so much in the span of just 2 years. Thank you for giving the team a chance to improve every day and for all your helpful tips. Now it's time to focus on soccer. Trevor and I were back in time for district play, and we had a couple weeks before the first round against Jenkintown, who we had lost to in the first half of the season. The practices went by quickly and it was time to play. Like the last time we played them, it was a slow game, neither team could find the back of the net in the first half. The start of the second was much of the same until halfway through, Jenkintown made a mistake and foul on us right outside the box. It was in the perfect spot for a lefty like me, so I stepped up to take it. Took a deep breath and hit the ball in the bottom left corner, and the goalie made an effort, but it wasn't enough. Later, Adam Shepard put the nail in the coffin to finish the game 2-0, and our next game was against Faith, which we knew was going to be tough. We practiced a new strategy, which was playing more defensively, and the game started, and Faith definitely kept the pressure on. But we only kept them to the 2 in the first half, and the second half started, and after relentless offense, Faith bagged a couple more goals and the game was over. It didn't hit me until I started to take my cleats and shin guards off that this was my last high school soccer game. And then, as soon as I saw my parents, I broke down with them. But this feeling of sadness was drowned out by all the good memories soccer has given me. I wanted to thank all the Doc soccer coaches for the time and effort they put into the team every year. Much like junior year, it was finally time to relax a little. That is, until during lunch, Justin proposed the idea of joining the bowling team. It took little persuasion, just like that, Justin, Victor, Trevor, and I walked to the next bowling practice. Thankfully, both coaches had a lot of patience with us. We may have not been the most serious, but when one of us challenged another, it was like we were playing a championship. I just want to put it out there that Justin had an unfair advantage because his dad played when he went to Doc, so he had bowling genetics. Victor, on the other hand, needed all the help he could get. And Trevor and I were alright. All jokes aside, we were all pretty terrible, but it was fun messing around with each other. I never thought that in high school I'd be on the bowling team, but I have no regrets. I made sure that my classes this year were not too challenging, but hard enough to keep me busy. One of my favorite classes was physics because it challenged me to think in a new way. It took me a couple of months to start using my physics mind, as Mrs. Mass calls it, and I struggled because to use this new way of thinking, I had to forget what had already been taught to me in past years. This took some time to get used to, but after a while, I started to understand the class. I enjoyed all the different labs that we did, along with the testing a bunch of different theories. Another class that I found fun was culinary arts too. It felt amazing going to school and getting to make food right away. It was a nice, relaxing way to start the day. Miss Berge was also a huge reason I enjoyed this class. She made it so much fun and interactive. It was always nice to walk into her class and be greeted by a huge smile and a cheerful voice. This year I wanted to be more active in chapel committee, so I decided to push myself and speak in chapel a little bit more, as well as come up with an interest group. I named the group Fishes of Men, and I would lead a devotional, and after it was done, we would fish in the dock pond for a little while and not catch anything. From what I know, everyone enjoyed it. It was a good break from the school day. Volleyball season came around out of nowhere, and we talked Justin Detweiler and Justin Panaya to play with us. Although they've only been playing for a short amount of time, they have both improved a crazy amount. The club season went by pretty fast, and it was a great time for the team to grow and get used to each other, since we graduated so many people last year. The regular season started with a couple of scrimmages and non-league games, and I found myself in a little bit of a rut, and nothing seemed to be clicking. I spent many nights frustrated talking to my parents, not knowing what to do. And being captain this year, I felt I was obligated to play well, and that was not happening. Thankfully, my parents are wiser than I am, and they said that it's more than just being a good player. also see another side of me. He noticed moments when I would have a mindset of being unstoppable and locked into what I was doing. From the wise words of Logan Huntsberger, sometimes you are the bull that only sees red. Be like that all the time. This completely changed my mindset in practice and games. It's like I had an automatic switch that I would forget the bad right away and just focus on the next point. Logan has helped me to improve my confidence and abilities on the court as well as my trash talk. This has been the most impactful season I've been a part of. The team and all of the coaches are the reason for that. At the beginning of the season, Mr. King asked the captains what words we wanted the team to be defined by, and we came up with a scrappy blue-collar team. This means we get on the floor and work our butts off together for each other. I've seen this at work many times this season, and I hope to continue to see that in teams to come. This season has been such a great experience, and that is because of the guys I got to share the court with. When playing sports here at Doc, I never thought that I would win the Athlete of the Year award while I was doing it. I'm so grateful for this achievement and thankful to the coaches for making it possible. In my eyes, winning this award is just a bonus on top of all the awesome experience I have been a part of while playing these sports. My high school experience has been filled with many ups and downs. I remember my parents telling me to take every opportunity and chance I got and take it all in when I was a freshman. I feel that I have done a good job at that and I have no regrets. Coming to Doc has helped me to be a more confident person, and it has helped me to find lifelong friends, which I'm very grateful for. You are all very special to me. You took me in when I became a student here, and I'm thankful for that. I've never really been excited to go to school, but that has changed because every day I got to go to school, I got to see my friends, and I will miss them. I feel that I finally found a home here, and now I have to move on to the next chapter. I know this is not the end, and we will make many more memories, but I will definitely miss every single one of you. Next year, I'll be attending Liberty University, majoring in mechanical engineering along with playing volleyball on the Division I club team. I'm also lucky enough to be rooming with the Trevor Ridge. Mom and Dad, I'm so thankful to have you guys in my life. Although I don't talk the most and respond with good most of the time, I'm very appreciative of all that you have done for me. You always said to take it all in and leave nothing on the table, and I have held these words close to my heart. You are both the most loving and supportive parents I could ever ask for. I could have never made it through the transition from Hill to Doc without you guys. The patience and supportiveness that both of you have for me is surprising at times. Whether that was when I wanted to try soccer for the first time, or lacrosse, or basketball, or baseball, and then there was golf, or volleyball, maybe ice hockey for a little bit, and finally bowling. You guys were always there for me. I love you both so much, more than you probably know. And to my sister. I'm so thankful to be able to call you my sister, and as of recent, a friend. All jokes aside, you have paved the way for me in many years, and I'm grateful for that. Younger me would have never thought that we'd actually get along, even after I threw the Lego Millennium Falcon at your head. Or that one time you ran over me, then backed right back over me in a RC car. Fun times. In all seriousness, thank you for all that you have done for me and shown me these past years. I love you, Brushfire. I'm excited about what the future holds, but also sad that this time in my life is passing. And I want to thank everyone who has been a part of it all,